Okay, welcome to the big Made by Marley summer swap, and one of the swapped out papers I'm just about to show you. It's called Leopardo, and it is one leopard going one way, one leopard going the other way, and one of the roses. I think this would be really nice on furniture, but I'm going to be using it today on some lovely glass demijohns that my son-in-law, I lent to him and he brought them back and dumped them in my utility room, and I no longer make wine. So I thought, So I'm going to turn these into some really bougie candle holders that really pack a punch. And I'm just going to show you how easy it is to do things like that with decoupage paper. So what else do you need? You're going to need some glue. I'm going to be using a pencil in a minute, a soft brush for your decoupage paper, a soft cloth, some scissors, and some paint and water. But that's pretty much what you're going to need for this project. So I'm going to do one. You don't need to see me doing both because it'll be the same process. I just want to sort of get my sort of in the right position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a line down here. I'm going to cut that line, but this line up here I'm going to rip. So just as long as I can see where I'm going to rip, we're good. And let's just get on to that. Now don't worry about this down here. We can fussy cut and add these flowers later, but it is probably better that we get a reasonably straight line. Now when I say straight, I don't know where these scissors came from. These are like scissors for very tiny people. Look at my hands on them, tiny scissors. Right, you will want to put all of your scraps to the side, and with all Made by Marley paper you're gonna rip away your borders, because that way it's gonna be easier to camouflage when you go to painting. It might go all the way around. I haven't even measured it, you know, flying by the seat of my pants as per. Now up the top we've got our line, haven't we? So I'm just going to do something like, oh, just gone into his ear. Let's get some of that rose on there. Keep that because you're going to need that too, and just let's rip down this edge here. Okay, let's have a wee look and see where we're at here. So I think it has to be able to go up around that curve. So best course of action, if you want things to actually move, here I go already. I'm already looking for something that I haven't got. But do you know what I'll do? I will cheat, and I will just add some water from I just want to soften up the top here. And while that's softening, we'll put our glue on our glass, just because that's going to make it easier to adhere. Mod Podge. Oh. Now, it's no different to applying glue onto glass than it is when you do furniture. However, you still need to do all the same steps. So I'm just going to be quite, I still don't know whether it goes all the way around. So I'll just go around quite a bit. Now, once you've got your glue on, you're going to then get to making sure that you've got it in all that lines there at the bottom of the glass. And you're going to make sure now that it's completely smooth. So now I'm just gently rubbing it so that there's no big lumps, and I know that all my glue has been applied. My already watered down, put this on here, up round here, and you're going to need a soft cloth, and then you just get to rubbing it down so there's no, now it goes down a bit at the bottom, but let's focus on the top first. This is where I ripped his ear, cheeky me. You're more patting up the top because you're going up the way. Now, down the bottom. It's different down the bottom because if I can, what I would be probably tempted to do is either cut this part off or try and blend it round. Either or. I'm probably picking the tougher option. I'm just saying that. I mean, you don't want it big. And this is where you don't want any sort of lines or lumps. So I'm just going to pull this back off so I can pull this tight. Oh, yeah. For John, I'm going to rub that wrinkle in. Same at this side. It's stuck quite fast. I mean, I'm just going to rip this part here and smooth that out. There we go. I can fill all this in. Now, it looks a little bit untidy at the moment, but do not worry. Don't worry about a thing. It's not a problem. I just need to make sure that it's all nice and smooth. Don't worry about any little creases or anything that you've got in it up at the top, because you are bending round an angle. I can camouflage all those and show you what to do. So you're going to do that with both of them for a start off. If you've got two, you might only have one demijohn. Now, on the back here, I'm going to take about half of my rose paper so that I've got enough for both. Turn it on its side, and I'm just going to rip myself something like that. And obviously I need to get rid of the white lines again. Rip those off. Oh, didn't mean to go as ripping crazy as that, but never mind. Now, let's see if I can cover the majority of this. I'm going to have to take a bit off the bottom of this again because, oh, well, I could go this way, couldn't I? But then my branches, oh no, wait a minute. Yeah. Now I just need to apply the glue on this side. I'm going right up over this edge because I know it's slightly bigger. Don't worry about any of the transitions right now. It's too early to worry about anything like that. Just making sure you've got your glue on is more important. I'm just going to get that there from the front. Now we get to smoothing. You're hardly leaning on it at all now. You're just delicately smoothing when it comes to this stage, because if you kind of go like this and you lean hard on it, can you see what's happened? All these ridges come out on your paper, so you really need to make sure that the ridges are all gone as well, so that you do that by using really soft strokes. Take my other half. Doesn't matter that it's shorter, we're going to be painting this. Got too much at one side and too much at the other, and not enough at the other. You know what I'm saying, Martin, don't you? And here we go again with this down the bottom part. I think when I last did this, I'm trying to see one that I've done. I did one for Christmas with a Santa on it. He's up there on the shelf, but I think I cut him way shorter than my bottom, so I didn't have all these bends at the bottom. But as I said, there's nothing paint won't fix. Now pat at the join, don't rub, because there's glue there and it'll just pull it and rip it. And make sure that you've got plenty of glue. Don't worry about the fact that there's not a piece there. Don't worry about that either. Pat on that. And let's just pat this again, because this is the bit that really needs to adhere. Now, this is how it looks. You want to get both of your demijohns to the same stage. Now, next thing we are going to do is we are going to add some paint. So, I here have some Amsterdam green, Danian black, Frida blue, and let me see what I've got here that's mixy worthy. You talk to them, Marty, while I find a mixie brush that I'm looking for.
What would you like me to talk about?
Oh, you can chat to them with whatever you want.
Oh, you're okay.
Now, I want a really dark grey blue, so I'm going to add some black into this, and I'll adjust it as we go. Now, starting up here. Now, you might have to give it, and I might need a smaller brush to get around the edges of this, but you probably have to give your glass 2 coats. But this is Annie Sloan chalk paint, and it sticks to glass like a dream. But sometimes you have to give it 2 coats. Depends how you're feeling. Doesn't matter that I'm going over the top of that rose, because I'm going to have to add a wee bit more black around here anyway. So now these really quick, fabulous projects, because they are really good when they turn out, are quick, They're easy, they're afternoon projects, they're fun projects, and everything you're learning on this will give you good vibes for when you do your furniture, because it's all the same kind of stuff, blending, you know, it's all the same sort of ilk. It's all good to be able to do this. Now, I don't want to be touching my... Do you see how nicely Annie Sloan paints glass? Now, I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to get the other one to the other stage. While that's happening, I'm going to cast a few moulds, because I think I'll put some moulds on this, feeling a bit giddy today. And I will fussy cut from these two pieces that we took off. I'm going to fussy cut what's left over of these flowers. This is for our other one. So I'll get them both to the same stage, and then we'll come back for a second coat, because I want to add some more black and things, and I've got bits to tackle and finish off. But it was just to get the first layer of paint on. Okay. Okay, so it's dry, and I've cast some IOD molds. I just did them roughly in some stone das. It's das clay, but it's the stone effect one, I think. I think it is. It doesn't matter, it's going to be painted. It was just the first one I put my hand on. So, and I think you can arrange these whatever way you want, kind of keeping the leopard kind of at the sort of, just going to manipulate that a little bit. Now, I can put moulds on top of paint when it comes to decor items. I just wouldn't do it with furniture, but it's alright when it's decor. Oh, if I whisper it, it won't sound so bad. I don't know why I whispered.
What is decor?
Shush, Matt. Don't have time for your nonsense today.
No, I'm furniture.
Oh, not on furniture though, no. Now, squeeze that down. Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that. And next I want to be applying this. Now, if you're anything like me, you've got a big bag of molds that have been cast, either when you've been doing resin or you've made them and there's too many. So I've got a big bag, and in that I found loads of different things. At first I thought of broken parts, but then I thought I'd use these. Now, you're going to need quite a globule, and you want to put that on there like that. Now, give it a minute and let's work on this side just now. So we're going back to the blending now. Don't worry about any of these edges right now, because we will be putting fussy cut papers on those for any of the really unsightly ones. Now, I'm putting more black into my paint here. You saw I dipped in the blue first, and now I'm going to the black. And now I'm going into the blue again. Oop, my brush is molting. And you're just making sure that you get down. I don't know where that hair went. Down into the edges of here and up down the top of here. Again, for its two coats. Turn it on the side. Along here. Now you're going to need a little bit of a, here's my brush here. I had a smaller brush for just down in here. You're just going straight down there with the black just now. Any creases and crumples, just get rid of those. Anything that you think, I'm not particularly liking that, just adjust as we go. Now we're going to need the green and the blue to mix together for more of this sort of shade. And you're going to probably want a little bit of water in that. I always quite to add a little bit of water when I'm doing over molds, because it kind of helps it get onto the molds. I'm going to add a little bit of black as well. I'll come back to stippling it in a minute. Now you've got a big dot of glue in behind there, so just get that with your brush, so that if anybody's looking from the other angle, they're not going to see that big dollop of glue. They're just going to see a colour. Back to this one for a minute. I'm just doing this so it's got the same sort of texture as everywhere else. Start working it round. Back to my little brush again. More water. And these projects have these two things have been relatively quick. I need to come back and put the paint effect over the moulds. And I need to add the fussy cut pieces, but they're going to have to dry for a bit before I can do that. I've actually done the other one, so making sure you get in all of the parts of your moulds. Taking into account the sides. Back round to where the globule of glue is again. More water. You're awful quiet, Martin. I don't know what to think about that right now.
It's not my job to talk.
Well, you can, feel free. Add whatever you want into the mix. Sometimes I wish it wasn't my job to talk. I could make you do the talking for me. It'd be really funny if you were describing what I was doing, wouldn't it? That would entertain me.
We should try that one day.
That would entertain me greatly. And you're slapping on the paint and
just lobbing on a bit of paint.
Yeah.
Oh, watch out for his legs.
Yep. Down here with the black again. Any parts that are a little bit suspicious looking, we need to put our colour down in there because we've got a baldy patch. And I need a bit more black here. Turn it round to this side. Just going to eradicate that pink flower altogether because it just makes it look a little bit weird. Now, this needs to dry before we can move on, but I'll show you the other one. They are different. So this one's got different moulds on it. Oh, I can see a bit there that I've missed when I painted that in. So that's this one and this one at this stage. Next, we're going to put a rusty paint effect when these are dry on these moulds. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll stop the camera and I'll get my paint for the rusty effect because these are dry enough to do, I think, and then that saves Martin coming back. Okay, so on my palette here, I have Barcelona Orange, Barcelona Orange, Honflower, which is brown, and Athenian Black. So I am going to be rusting up these moulds. I've also got some salt wash. This was what I had left in the can, and I thought, well, I'll never really use it. So I thought, pop some of that out there. It's a bit lumpy. Let's see if I can kind of get rid of some of these lumps. That just makes rust effect a little bit more crusty. There we go. Fabulous. Okay, so I've got some brown on my brush. Trying to make up my mind whether I want rust everywhere on here. I only want it to kind of round the frame on the other part. Now I'm dipping in the orange. Keep it in the black. Oops, a bit much there. In the baking soda. No, it's not baking soda. Salt wash. You can do this with baking soda. That's why I got a bit confused there. Or clay, or whatever you think, whatever you want to use. Back in the brown. And you just alternate the colours until you get something that you're happy with, and it takes a wee bit of time. I'm going to have to play around with this for a wee while, but once you get it, once you're happy with it, just leave it alone kind of thing and it'll be fine. Sometimes I think that the more rusty kind of build up near the edges. Just tippy tap along there. Right, I'm going to leave that a minute. And see, I'm just going to dip some crusty stuff on that. Right, on this part, I'm only going round it. I'm not going to show you me doing all of it, but just rusting up this area around here. A little bit more around the edges, and I'm going to get on and wait for the other one to dry and get these rusted up, and then we'll be putting on our fussy cut parts, and then sealing and done. Bosh. Just like that. So I'll get on and do this. Okay. Okay, so I'm just separating out what there should be, like kind of 2 of these shapes for both sides, for both of the I'm just kind of roughly separating them so that there's the same for both sides, because that way I'll have flowers for both sides. Right, so boom and boom. So let's get these ones here. So let's have a wee look where I can start gluing this. I don't like this edge here, so let's put this edge up under here. And this time I'm applying glue to the paper, not the other way around, not to the jug. And just tap it in, making sure that you pat it all down and it's nice and smooth, but it's going over the top of those other ones. So that's going to go there. I wanted to do something with, see these little ones here? I want to put those in here, but I'm going to have to make them slightly smaller. So let's just have a wee look at how I do that. Something like that. Oh, that was a bit much glue. Now, because this is slightly concave. Convex. I'm vexed. You're going to have to kind of work it down nice and flat. I don't think there's anything wrong with applying quite a bit of glue here, if I'm honest. I just want that to be nice. So let's just do that across there, so that I can massage the glue in and it will sit nice and smooth. There we go. Now let that dry. That piece is done. What I've got this big orange one. Let's see if there's anything nasty that we think, can't really do much with this. Doesn't really need. I can't just have that running across there. It's going to look a bit weird. I wonder if I do something like cut a little bit of a bit more width. I'll put that up around here. And this part here is just using what you've got left over. I mean, I don't like to waste things, so, you know, why not? You do have to make sure that it's all patted in, though. There we go. Here we really could be doing with something just to kind of, let's just put something like that across that join there. And I think you get the drill. I'm going to use what I've got for both sides, making sure that those sort of awkward parts with the transitions where it goes up and round this bend, normally it looks better than that, and I can show you it in theory, because here's one I did, and it's, you can see how smooth it is, but I've taken the transitions up and then I've just painted along it. Now this one's quite old, but you can see how nice and smooth it is. So, you know, they're worth doing. I think they come out really nice. So I got, Martin, you made me stop halfway through.
I'm sorry, darling.
My glue was already on it.
That's terrible of me.
It was.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't." He said, "Show them now, Lil." Finger marks. No. Let's put that across there as well. Now, I'm going to get on. I'm going to do this. And the next time you see these bad boys, they're going to be staged up. But before I go, I just want to show you something that is going to make this all come together, hopefully. Hopefully. Turn it around to the front again. When I was away in Germany, I bought these. They were £2.50. They were
€2.
€2.50. That's what they were. And at first I thought, oh, but who's going to be able to get these? But I was speaking to Connie from Faff Designs, and she said she'd saw them on a website and they weren't rusted. They were just, and they were selling them for about the same sort of price. So I don't know what you'd call them. They're something that turns any bottle or vase in a candle holder, but I got 3 of them. So I'm going to finish mine off by putting that in for my candle, which I think will end up looking quite nice once I've done it. So I'll stage these off and put these in. I'll maybe actually even see if I can do my research to see if I can actually, although I'm in the UK, not everybody's in the UK, but I'm just thinking that'll be quite nice once it's in. Hence the reason for the rusty finish. I might put some rust finish down this bottom edge just to kind of give it a little bit of a finished look down the bottom. But that's what you're going to see once I stage them all up. So here they are. Here's the demijohns finished and staged. I did rub a little bit of gold on top of the rust coloured paint, and I put a little bit of resin on it onto the sort of centre pieces. But apart from that, that's them. They're sealed. I've got candles in them, and that's a simple way to spend an afternoon with 2 boring demijohns and turn them into some really awesome statement-y piece. They look quite majestic, to be honest with you. Just some simple demijohns. Martin, do you have anything to add?
I think they're awesome.
Yeah, do you like those?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for today.